Can I take 2 minutes of your time to shift the lens back on Jeffrey Epstein, a former math teacher who became a high-profile financier and later a convicted sex offender? The rise and fall of Epstein gives us a glimpse into the puppeteers of our world, and that is precisely why we should pay attention. But how does a man with no college degree land a teaching job at an elite private school and just 2 years later enter the world of high finance and the elites? The answer appears to lie in access. Epstein understood how to position himself in spaces where access to the powerful happened without layers of bureaucracy, and sometimes with a small push from the right individuals. It was the parent of one of his students at Dalton School who introduced him to Alan Ace Greenberg, a senior executive at the Wall Street investment bank Bear Stearns. Epstein joined the firm and quickly rose through the ranks, eventually becoming a limited partner, managing accounts for some of the bank's wealthiest clients. But his rise was not built on financial expertise. Reports at the time raised questions about regulatory violations and allegations of financial misconduct. He was accused of misappropriating nearly $450,000 in funds. By the time Jeffrey left Bear Stearns, he had met billionaire Les Wexner, his first high-profile client and co-conspirator as listed by the FBI in 2019. Epstein would also maintain a relationship with JP Morgan Chase, one of the world's largest banks, and despite his 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor, the bank didn't cut ties with him. Epstein built transactional relationships with the rich and powerful. Through these relationships, he created dependency on himself and a network of clients that surpassed ideologies and partisan politics. That's what the 3 million Epstein files released would reveal: a network of politicians, tech moguls, academics, and royalty. At the center of that world was Little St. James, the private island he owned in the Caribbean. According to victims and investigators, young women and underage girls were trafficked there and to Epstein's various properties. Court documents, flight logs, testimonies, emails, and photos offer glimpses into the people who moved within Epstein's social circle. But many of those documents are not fully visible. Here's what U.S. Representative Rayan had to say about it.
Yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted.
Which means the public has only seen fragments of the full picture and a punishment that doesn't necessarily fit the crime. Epstein, the name, now extends beyond the man himself. For many, the case has come to symbolize how power, wealth, and influence can intersect, and how accountability can remain elusive. And years later, many questions still remain unanswered.